Having a pump during workout is really important, guys, but you don't want to get carried away chasing something that's not necessarily going to lead to strength and muscle gains. So don't get lost in chasing a pump and staring at yourselves in the mirror. Make sure you're training hard, heavy, and intense. What's up, guys? Back at it here, hitting some shoulders and triceps with my girl Maria. Got her training just like me. How's it been?
What?
How's the training been?
Great, awesome, actually.
So for those of you who say, well, I'm men's physique or I'm bikini, well, hopefully none of you guys are bikini, but you know, I don't want to look like this. The training style, the intensity, can be implemented by everybody. She's been training like me for the past few weeks and no change in cardio and diet, and she's gotten leaner, harder, and in need of more food.
Definitely hungrier, much hungrier.
She said definitely hungrier. So what have we been doing? If you guys have been following me, what I've done is I just lowered my volume, taking a rest day every third day. So training only 2 days, less reps, less sets, heavier weight. Now, what you guys understand, go ahead. What you guys have to understand is a lot of you commented on the last video and on Instagram that, you know, oh, higher volume works better for you and so on and so forth. What you guys have to understand is it's the intensity. I see you guys train, right? I see people on Instagram, I see people in gyms 30 years. It's not so relevant of, you know, what you do, but it's how you do it. So when you guys are going through the motions and doing 4 or 5 exercises, 4 sets, you get used to it and you're not really training with intensity. If you guys think that's better for you and it works for you, go ahead and do it, but train with intensity. When I give someone a new program of lower volume and less reps and sets and everything and higher weight, they're training with more intensity. And since they're doing so much less, they push harder. So do you guys get what I'm saying? That it's the intensity that matters. You want to do the 4 sets, go ahead. You want to do 5 exercises, 4 or 5 sets each, go ahead. You probably won't last if you train the way I'm telling you to. The dead stops, stopping complete at the bottom, not using momentum, and pushing yourself to train as heavy as you can. And heavy does not necessarily mean a huge load. As heavy as you can with adequate form, good contractions, and full range of motion. It might not even be that heavy. So I'm always saying high intensity heavy, and people are like, whoa, I don't want to get injured, and oh, I like better, higher volume. It's the intensity. It's the intensity. You want to train like an athlete with high intensity. Coming in the gym and going through the motions, after years and years, sometimes you don't even burn many calories, you know? So it's good to just come in and doing heavy movements and explosive days. You know, I was telling you the other day, just doing a CrossFit type of workout, or just doing, you know, pulls and chains and some heavy movements a few days a week is gonna induce a lot of fat burning, muscle growth, strength, and also growth hormone production in your body. All right, so I'm just warming up the shoulders, and I'm starting with a press. So I don't really count any of these as serious working sets. I did 2 light, and I did 2 at 30. I'm gonna do 1 heavier set at 40 to really stimulate the side delts, and then I'm gonna go into the presses. Warm-up sets, a real reason of warming up is to literally, as it's called, warm up, raise your temperature, get blood into the area. So as long as you got blood in the area and you got a little pump, you're going to be growing and being efficient at your training if you're pushing hard. So chasing the pump, I'll probably get the best pump ever by going 30-40% lighter and doubling my sets and my reps. Is that going to induce muscle growth? No. Training with intensity and training heavier is going to induce muscle growth. A lot of times guys don't have a pump because they're sodium or water. That's a different topic. Assuming that everything is on par and you drank enough water before your workout and you have enough sodium in your diet, you want to get a slight pump when you train, but you need to focus more on how much weight you're pushing, how intense, and how strict. If you guys paid attention, I'm stopping on the bottom of every single rep. Go ahead, babe. I stopped at the bottom of every rep. And you might think that would be easier, but it's not, it's harder. At the end of the exercise when I fatigued, I did 3 or 4, I think 3 reps just back to back. There's a rubber band effect, a reflex at the bottom where there's momentum. It's a stretch effect. And you're using momentum. Taking that out is gonna take the pressure and load off the joint or whatever the case may be for preventing injury, but also makes it harder. So that's what a dead stop is. You're starting from scratch. It is harder. I'll put the weight completely down on the floor when I'm doing bent over rows, then pick it up and start from scratch. And you would think you're getting a rest, you're getting a break, even if it's a half a second, should be easier. It's not. Continuing to go, using that momentum and that little bit of a bounce. Even if you're super strict and you're not visually seeing a bounce, it's there. So try those. Why do you think we need a lift on the first rep? Always, oh, give me a lift on the first one. Why? Because the first one's the hardest one. Good, come on. Good. Elbows. Good, breathe, come on. Lead with the elbow. Up. 3 more, come on. Everything you got. 3, good. Good, come on, 1 more. All the way up. Good. I don't even know how many I got. She got 15. It was difficult, but way too much. So we're gonna go heavier for her on that, and every one was a dead stop. You find it harder when you stop at the bottom as it is when you go?
It's a lot harder, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, to some of you are like, it's a no-brainer, you know that, and a lot of you, it doesn't make sense. Give it a try. Give it a try. Take the weight that you guys normally do with consistency, momentum, and put it down. You know, you can only do it on certain exercises. You can't do it with dumbbells. But machines, Smith machine, I do it with a lot of stuff, even one-arm rows with a dumbbell. It's really that much harder. It makes me feel like more athletic training, if that makes sense, more explosiveness, and it just gets you winded, man. And you know, just like HIIT cardio, when I do HIIT cardio, I feel it later in the day. Training 5, 6 exercises, 4 sets. I've been training 20-something years. Most of you have been training for 1 to 7 years. You get used to it, man. Your body gets used to it and it's easy. So do what I'm saying, then go back to that, and then do something what someone else is saying on another channel, but always change it up. And when I say always change it up, week to week, I'll do the same exact workout for like 4 to 8 weeks sometimes. It's kind of irrelevant. You're doing a garbage exercise, it's garbage. But for the most part, there's only so many exercises. So switching up the exercises week to week isn't necessary. The intensity, the form, that's what's important. Let's just jump. So I don't need to warm up, I was warmed up. But when I go to my first press, the first set, usually it's getting acclimated to the weight or acclimated to the new movement, right? So it's not necessarily a warm up. So I knew I wouldn't get another rep up on my own. So just to push it a little harder, I just did a negative on the last one. Come on. Push, 2 more, 2 more, 2 more. 5, 4, hold it there, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. 3, 2, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Good. You guys know what intensity techniques are? Supersets, drop sets, force sets, negatives. They're all intensity techniques. On a hammer strength, on the negative, you could have your buddy pull your arm and you fight it. Intensity techniques all work. They just have a time and place. If you apply a lot of them, you're gonna fatigue. So if I had her doing supersets on the first exercise and force reps and negatives, we're not gonna be able to lift heavy. So sometimes I'll incorporate powerlifting, intensity techniques, and hypertrophy all in one workout, whereas some people will do 2 months of powerlifting, then 2 months of hypertrophy. You can start your workout up with 5x5s or low volume 4 to 6 reps, then move into intensity technique and finish up with hypertrophy, 12 reps, 15 reps. Woo. So she asked me if I needed a lift. I said, no, just spot me because we're doing dead stops. So every single rep is a lift. Usually you guys need a lift on the first one. You need it, you can't lift it on your own. And then once you got it, you're moving it. What's that tell you? Proves my point. So moving on to some dumbbells. Obviously no dead stops here, but not bouncing, not going fast. Nice and slow at the bottom. Now, big discussion, 90 degrees or further back incline that I'm doing. 90 is gonna be harder. Puts your shoulder in a completely different position. You're going to use a little bit of your upper chest shelf here with the incline. But watch me do the next one. I'm very tight against the pad. I'm not arching and making it even more of an incline, where a lot of guys do. Keeping your back flat against the pad and even your chin down a little is gonna focus more on your shoulders. I can turn this into an incline chest press very easily by arching my back, lifting my head up. You guys can actually see the fibers in the front delt working. So this is an upright row. You see that right there? You want to make sure the delt is doing the work. So upright rows of the bar are fine, but what they do is internally rotate. When your hands are close, you internally rotate, and it puts the shoulder in a bad predicament. Internal rotation is dangerous. So that's why I do it one arm at a time. And it also allows me to play with my angle of my upper body, whereas when you have that bar, when you go heavy, it can throw you off, or you can put too much strain on your lower back. Give it a try. If you feel good, do it. If you don't feel it working much, don't do it. Go light. Make sure you're leading with the elbow. You go, babe, you go ahead. Make sure you're leading with the elbow and elbows up high. If you're pulling like this, you're not using your front delt. You're gonna be using a lot of your arm, maybe even your traps. Most of you are chasing the pump during your workouts and you lose focus on what you're in the gym for. Of course you want to get a pump. It means you have blood, water, nutrients in the muscle, but the pump is not the only thing that's important. You guys don't get lost with chasing the pump and staring at yourselves in the mirror. Make sure you're training intense so you're progressively increasing your weight, your volume, or your intensity. Oh! So, we had a cheat meal last night. It wasn't a cheat meal. I hate calling it a cheat meal because it sounds like you cheated. I don't really have cheat meals, they're planned. So I've been running high fat, no carb. I depleted for about a week and a half. And yesterday did a carb up, kind of like practicing like for a show. And then the last meal was Five Guys burger and fries, which is our favorite. And I woke up today looking sharp, hard, and full. And I'm not limiting water, I'm drinking water, which is key for me. So right now I look pretty grainy and full from that food, but little filmy, very little. Now we're moving on to the beloved triceps. And of course our body temperature is warmed up from training for the past 40 minutes. We still gotta warm up slightly, new muscle. So I'll do two sets, roughly 15 to 20 reps before I start really moving some weight. With triceps, the main secret is full contraction, and sounds obvious, right? Duh, that's a secret to every muscle. But how many of you really are getting full contractions? A lot of bouncing. I see a lot of bouncing and a lot of such heavy weight where we're coming to here and not fully extending, and a lot of leaning forward. So always understand when you're training a muscle, what muscles are helping. Isolation, there's no such thing. We do our best to isolate, but the human body doesn't work that way. You bend over to pick up a pencil and 50 muscles will fire. So you gotta figure out what muscles are firing and try to shut them off. How? Angles, form, even pre-exhaustion, but with here, it's mainly angle and form. So a lot of people will be like, oh, why are you backing away so much from the machine and taking up all the space? There's a huge difference between this and this. This is harder. I can stand here for days. When the cable is parallel to your arm, it's easy. When it's perpendicular or anything in between, it becomes more difficult. So give this a try. Come here and back away. Triples the tension. This is much more difficult. I'm working through the whole rep range instead of resting at the bottom if I was closer. Now, I'm not caving in and doing this. I'm retracting my shoulders back and down, keeping my elbows here, coming up 90, and fully contracting. The big difference between this and this. Big difference. All right, guys, shoulders and tries is a wrap today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was informative, and hope you can apply it and get bigger, bolder shoulders. Stay tuned for some big videos. I'm gonna let you know one of them is gonna be an epic cheat meal, which you guys have never seen me do before. So that should be very, very exciting, and I'm personally looking forward to it. Till next time.